Hey all, Glenn Kirschner here. Please enjoy this video on the Political Voices Network.
Yeah, okay, this is, well, breaking news, but maybe not to you. Judge rejects Trump bid to upend Georgia probe. Fulton judge, there you go, on Monday rejected a sweeping push from Trump to get the Fulton County District Attorney's investigation of interference in the 2020 election, which is expected to result in criminal charges in the weeks ahead. The judge McBurney ruled that Trump and the alternate GOP elector who joined the president's motion did not have sufficient legal standing to mount a challenge before any indictments are announced. Man, he is really on a losing streak.
Yeah, and let me just read a little passage from the very last page of Judge McBurney's order. He says that Trump's motion to preclude the prosecutor, Fani Willis, from using evidence derived from the special purpose grand jury's work is dismissed. His motion to quash the final report of the grand jury is denied. The motion to disqualify District Attorney Fani Willis and her office is denied. Bye-bye. Go away. You're about to be indicted.
Yeah. What one other?
I added the last part. Though.
Yeah. I got it. I just want to ask you one more of your tweets when we talked, because this broke last week. The 8 search warrants were obtained in the investigation of the documents, obstruction, espionage, crime. One at Mar-a-Lago, but how about the other? Here are the possibilities. So, just curious about those, and also just your take on the superseding indictment on why he did that. And what you think all these other warrants mean?
So the 8 search warrants was a little bit of a surprise, but people I think immediately wanted to believe that maybe they did search Bedminster, right. Maybe they did search Trump Tower. If they did, I can't imagine Donald Trump would have kept quiet about it. When we execute a search warrant on a property like they did on Mar-a-Lago, there are often lots of satellite search warrants that get issued by courts and executed by the FBI, like for cell phones that were seized, but we have to get a separate search warrant for the cell phone. Laptops, social media accounts, we have to get search warrants for that. So it could be that they only searched one property, Mar-a-Lago, and everything else involved these satellite spin-off search warrants.
Let me get you check on one last thing, just because I think we talked about new polling this morning, Glenn, that has him at 50% in the GOP primary, right? I don't know. Next is DeSantis at, what is he, 10%? I mean, he's obviously. But Jill Wine-Banks, our dear friend of mine, described these latest allegations against Trump in the classified documents case as blockbuster. She wondered if it could finally turn his base against him. It reminded me first of how powerful the original indictment was, and with this added information, it's absolutely a blockbuster. It reminds me of what happened in Watergate. The obstruction, the concealment, a cover-up, it's all happening. She wondered whether this could be the straw that breaks the camel's back when it comes to his unflinching supporters. Is this when the MAGA crowd finally goes, oh my God, like Richard Nixon, he's a crook, he's terrible, he's really not helping us, he's acting in his own regard? Or are they going to lap up what he said in Iowa about, I got indicted for you, I did this for you? I mean, it's just we are not in the Nixon GOP era, are we?
They're going to continue to lap it up. There is nothing that will cause them to break from their false god. And part of me says, because he can't win a general election, I believe that to my core. Joe Biden, beat him like a rented mule in the last election, 7 million more votes than he got. And I think over time, people have sort of slowly walked away from Donald Trump. Anybody who engages in fact-based analysis or cares at all about decency and, accountability and what's really good for the American people, they're walking away from him. So if he lost by 7 million votes last time, he'll lose by 27 million votes this time. Part of me says, let him be the nominee. But the other part of me says, America deserves better than a nominee for president like Donald Trump.
Yeah. I would like to interject that the Stephanie Miller Show are animal lovers, and we do not promote the beating of rented mules, rented or otherwise. Okay, so I love Jill, but I think that we always say, Chris, like the difference. No Fox News or right wing radio back in Nixon's era. Right. There was one set of facts, and I'm sad to say it, but when you listen to some of these interviews this weekend, they just his supporters, they don't believe it. They ask about specific allegations and crimes. They're like, nope, don't believe it. Fake news. Nope, didn't do it. I mean, they just.
And during Watergate, there was a Republican Party that could be pushed too far on somebody who was willing to violate the rule of law or act in just a completely immoral way. And the Republican Party ultimately rose up, marched on Richard Nixon's White House and said, look, sport, you're done, or you will be impeached and convicted. We don't have a Republican Party that can be pushed too far these days. That's a shame.
And I think Barry Goldwater did use the word sport. I'm just going to go out on a limb. There it is, my first drink of the day, Z-Biotics pre-alcohol probiotic. Many of you know my story. I stopped drinking wine for 3 years during COVID, during the lockdown as part of a health reset. Now I drink wine in moderation, but this is an amazing new product. I've always believed in probiotics. And Z-Biotics, check this out. You drink just one of these. It's the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. I am using this and I feel great in the morning. I don't have to worry. If I have an extra glass of wine, I still feel great in the morning. Here's how it works. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. I've always had acid reflux problems. It is this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for your rough next day. Z-Biotics produces an enzyme to break this byproduct down. All I know is it works. It is Z-Biotics pre-alcohol probiotic. Go to zbiotics.com/politicalvoices or scan the QR code on the screen right now.